Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. How hateful, they had still managed to escape. Lei Ying and the others clenched their teeth with great dissatisfaction as they looked at the place where the black hole had disappeared. It was unexpected that even the three great clans and the Sky Mansion Alliance were actually unable to retain the Hun clan. The strength that the Hun clan had displayed had far exceeded what we knew about them in the past. Yang Jin's expression was grave. From a certain point of view, the current Hun clan is no longer something that any single faction could fight against alone. Even the Gu clan was unable to do so. It was precisely because of this that the danger he felt in his heart had increased. If the three clans had not cooperated, it was likely that they would be finished off by the Hun clan one at a time. Their fate would likely be no different for the Yao, Ling and Shi clan. The Hun clan has hidden too deeply during these years. Gu Yuan, whose hair was in a mess, had a face that was also unusually grave. They always thought that even if the Gu clan was unable to defeat the Hun clan with its strength, the Gu clan should at least be equivalent to the Hun clan in strength. However, the cruel reality today had told them that the Gu clan was really no match for the Hun clan. Han Qiandi is right. When the Xiao clan was defeated back then, there was no faction on this continent who could fight with them. Unfortunately, this truth was something that we are only aware of at today. Gu Yuan sighed. He also felt some regret in his heart. If the Xiao clan was still present, the Hun clan would likely not dare to start this war regardless of how bold it was. Lei Ying and the others laughed bitterly after hearing these words. It was a little too late to speak about this now. What should we do now? Xiao Yan was momentarily quiet before he replied. Everyone's eyes were thrown towards Gu Yuan after they heard this. The latter mused for a moment upon seeing this. Finally, he said, the Hun clan has already obtained all of the Chu Shi ancient god jade. After they recuperate, it is likely that they are going to put the ancient jades together and learn of the location of the Chu Shi ancient god mansion. The only thing that we can do now is to carefully observe the Hun clan. If any of their experts moved, we will quietly follow them until the location of the Chu Shi ancient god mansion. If it's spying on them, I'm afraid that the Hun clan would slip away and escaped from us. By the time we discover it, it is likely that they have already entered the ancient god mansion. Lei Ying frowned and said, this was something that the Hun clan specializes in. They had not sensed anything wrong when the Hun clan had quietly destroyed the Ling, Shi and Yao clans. This time around, I will personally observe them. Gu Yuan spoke in a deep voice. He understood the importance of this matter. If the Hun clan managed to successfully open the mansion and obtain the secret to advance into the Dodi class, it was likely that they would not have the opportunity to turn things around. In the eyes of a genuine Dodi, the so-called Alliance army would appear extremely insignificant. Everyone finally nodded after hearing these words. The two strongest in Divi. There would definitely be a big war once they reached the location of the Chu Shi ancient god mansion. This time around, even if we fight until many die, we must not allow the Hun clan to do what they please. Gu Yuan's expression was solemn as he spoke. Everyone nodded in unison. They understood that if they were to fail in this battle at the mansion, their fate would be the same as the other three clans. In order to retain their clan's bloodline, they must fight until death regardless of the great price they had to pay. The victor survives while the defeated dies. The army has remained at the Sky Mansion Alliance during this period of time and strictly observed the action of the Hun clan. Additionally, I feel that we should take the opportunity of this period of time to destroy the locations of all the Hall of Soul, which acts as the claws of the Hun clan, on the Central Plains. Xiao Yang opened his mouth and said after making a decision. The Hall of Soul Her. It is perhaps time to completely destroy this tumor. Lei Ying and the others mused for a moment upon hearing this. A fierce glint flashed over their eyes. They were well aware of the actions of the Hall of Soul during these years. This faction had been collecting souls from all over the place. From the looks of it now, it seemed that the revival of the older generations of the Han clan's experts, like Han Yuantian, who should have died a long time ago, had some relation with this. In that case, let's get this Alliance army to camp at the Sky Mansion Alliance. That place stands on the Central Plains, and we will be able to monitor every action of the Han clan. Jiu Yuan did not object. Remaining in the Central Plains would make it convenient to monitor the Han clan. Xiao Yang smiled and nodded. After which, he turned his head towards Yao Lao and said, "Teacher, I'll leave the matter of the army to you." "Ha ha, relax. The Alliance might be lacking in many ways, but we have a lot of room. It should not be a problem for these people to stay there." Yao Lao fondled his beard and laughed. Additionally, the position of Chief of the Sky Mansion Alliance had been shifted to you before the army had set off. You are most suitable than me to take this position now. Xiao Yang was startled. He looked at the smile on Yao Lao's face and nodded helplessly. Currently, the alliance was becoming stronger. It did require a powerful alliance chief. Yao Lao might have the necessary reputation, but he was a little lacking in terms of strength. Allowing Xiao Yang to take the position would likely further stabilize the alliance. Xiao Yang once again left some instructions to Yao Lao and the rest before he suddenly turned his head to look at Kaylin and Zun. He softly said, "The both of you should follow me." Xiao Yang rushed towards a distant mountain after his words sounded. Kaylin and Zun also understood him after seeing this. Their faces became slightly flush. They clenched their hands tightly. Their hearts, which showed no fear in the face of a large army, actually began to feel slightly anxious. Both ladies quickly glanced at each other, as though they were cheering each other on. After which, they clenched their silver teeth gently and followed. Xiao Yang's figure landed on a mountain in the distance. The few experts from the alliance on the mountain quickly stood up after they saw his arrival. They bowed and welcomed him. Respect and fear filled their faces. "Alliance Chief. I have troubled everyone." Xiao Yang waved his hand and quickly walked towards Xiao Zhon, who was guarded by everyone. He bowed respectfully and softly asked, "Father, are you all right?" Xiao Zhon looked at this somewhat skinny young man in front of him, whose hands seemed to possess the strength to fight the heavens. His eyes once again became moist. Pride and relief filled his heart. Although he was a great distance away earlier, he had also clearly seen the earth-shaking like big battle earlier. The terrifying strength, which Xiao Yang had displayed during the big battle, had caused him to be excited and pleased. During these years he had spent in the Han clan, he clearly understood just how frightening the Han clan was. Yet, even such a terrifying opponent seemed to have suffered a serious damage in the hands of this youngest son of his. "Yang, you have grown." Xiao Zhon's rough large hand patted Xiao Yang's shoulder. Back in the distant past, when everyone had thought that this former genius of the Xiao clan would become completely useless, only he stubbornly believed that the youth would one day soar to the skies. Decades later, the useless youth in the Wutang city back then had already stood at the peak of this continent and overlooked everything on it. Xiao Yang involuntarily felt a heartache as he looked at Xiao Zhon's much older face. He forcefully smiled and slowly moved his body aside. Two beautiful figures, which caused everything in the world to pale in comparison, were revealed behind him. "Uncle Xiao. Do you still remember Zun?" Zun's face was slightly flushed, as she bowed gracefully and whispered. Zone. Xiao Yan was startled. He looked at this beautiful fairy-like lady in front of him. Finally, he recalled the most brilliant and mysterious young lady of the Xiao clan back then. A joy immediately surged on his face. This was the most satisfactory daughter-in-law, in his opinion, about back then. However, the latter's status caused him to understand that it was merely wishful thinking on his part. He had even knocked Xiao Yang's head frequently because of this, telling him not to get too deep with Zana. Father, Zana is currently a member of our Xiao clan. Xiao Yang approached Xiao Yan and laughingly said, "Good fellow. You have really not disappointed your father." Xiao Yan's elderly face revealed a great joy after hearing this. His palm slapped onto Xiao Yang's back. Zana's face had turned red with embarrassment after hearing the conversation of the two. His face was brilliant and alluring. "Who is this?" Xiao Yan was happy for a moment before his eyes suddenly looked at Kaylin at the side. The latter was quietly standing in one corner with a bewitching and tempting appearance. However, her originally cold pretty face had become a lot quieter and gentler. It caused Xiao Yang to be a little stunned. "Cough, this is also your daughter-in-law, Kaylin." Xiao Yang's expression was a little unnatural. He coughed dryly and spoke in a low voice. Xiao Yan's face twitched slightly. He covertly gave Xiao Yang a thumbs up. "Father, you should also have heard of Kaylin. She has another name called Queen Medusa." Xiao Yang laughed. "Queen Medusa?" Xiao Yan's mind trembled slightly upon hearing this name, which he had once known very well. Even though he had currently seen many experts, his heart still had a lingering horror towards this Queen Medusa, whose fierce reputation was well known throughout the entire Jioma Empire back then. After all, this was a name that no one had dared to even mention at the Jioma Empire back then. However, he did not expect that this Queen Medusa, who had frightened the entire Jioma Empire and a couple neighboring empires, would actually also become his daughter-in-law. "Uncle Xiao, that is all in the past. You can call me Kaylin." Kaylin smiled sweetly. She immediately glared at Xiao Yang icily and quietly warned him not to talk about the matters in the past. Xiao Yang involuntarily smiled in the face of Kaylin's warning. After which, he looked at Xiao Yan and smilingly said, "Father, let's return to the Sky Mansion Alliance first. Your granddaughter is also waiting for you there. At that time, I will also call big brother and second brother over. Our family will be able to reunite again." "Granddaughter?" Ji Yuzhon widened his mouth. Various emotions immediately appeared in his heart. This little fellow, was he not a little too efficient? After the Alliance army withdrew back to the Sky Mansion Alliance, the entire Central Plains had undoubtedly turned into an uproar. The three great ancient clans and the overlord of the Central Plains, the Sky Mansion Alliance. This alliance army was so powerful that one could not describe it with words. Any faction would be turned into dust under the might of this army. This shock, which caused everyone to panic, did not last for long before the news of the all-out war between the Alliance army and the Hun clan was spread. After all, the big battle between the Alliance army and the Hun clan at the Burial Mountain Range was really far too earth-shaking. It was impossible for that kind of big war not to attract attention. Hence, the moment the big battle ended and the Alliance army withdrew, news of the battle began to spread to every corner of the Central Plains. Some of the factions, which had some conflict with the Sky Mansion Alliance, quietly sighed in relief after hearing that the target of the Alliance army was the Hun clan. Soon after, however, they could sense the most terrifying storm in 1,000 years would soon sweep over the Central Plains with their sharp senses. This storm would be incomparable intense. It would be many times worse than any other war in the past. Many factions began to feel uneasy in the face of this imminent storm. A fight between the frightening existences would likely cause an extremely horrible destruction over the Central Plains. This was clearly a danger that could not be underestimated for the factions that were living on the Central Plains. Even if they were to be briefly touched by a war of this level, it was likely that their entire faction would be destroyed. Hence, those factions, which were located close to the Sky Mansion Alliance, had all hurriedly left their lands after the Alliance army had set up camp at the Sky Mansion Alliance. They were afraid that they would suffer from some unintentional attacks when the war began, which would result in a miserable fate. Xiao Yan and the others ignored this commotion on the Central Plains. At the moment, the Han clan might have committed various atrocities on the Central Plains, but it was obvious that those factions would not start a war with the Han clan just because of this. Everyone wished to remain neutral in the face of this big war. Hence, Xiao Yan's group did not plan to pull these factions onto the same boat as them. The large army returned to the Star Realm and began to be busy once again. However, it was fortunate that there was Yao Lao and other people in charge of these. Hence, there was no need for Xiao Yan to have a headache over these matters. After all, he was really not very good when it came to management. Xiao Yan sighed in relief after returning to the Star Realm. Even he had felt a little tired after he finally being able to relax from such an intense battle. Therefore, while Yao Lao and the others were busy with settling the Alliance army down, he had led Xiao Zhon, Zun'er and Kailin back to the mountain, which belonged to him. Xiao Xiao quickly appeared in front of Xiao Yang's group, after hearing about news of Xiao Yang's return at the mountain. After which, she swiftly pounced into Xiao Yang's embrace and refused to come down. "Come, Xiao Xiao, greet your grandfather." The current Xiao Xiao had begun to appear a little juicy. Adding the natural bewitching look she had inherited from her mother, she was already a beauty despite being young. One could imagine that she would become another great beauty, who could bring disaster to countries like her mother, when she grew up. Xiao Xiao's large black eyes blinked after hearing Xiao Yang's words. She looked at Xiao Zhon beside Xiao Yang. Although this old man appeared to be a stranger, she still obediently called out, "Grandpa." Good granddaughter." Xiao Zhon's eyes paused on Xiao Xiao the moment the latter appeared. His elderly face had actually reddened slightly from his excitement. That wrinkled-filled old face broke into a bright smile after hearing Xiao Xiao obediently greeted him. Even his eyes had become narrow, as he laughingly replied in a hurried fashion. Xiao Yang helplessly smiled after seeing that Xiao Zhon's face was even more excited than when they had met earlier. Old people seemed to be especially fond of little children. After all, from the way they saw it, the continuation of their bloodline was the most important thing in a clan. "Come, Grandpa will give you a hug." Xiao Zhon smilingly extended his hand and forcefully hugged Xiao Xiao from Xiao Yang's embrace. His beard-covered old face continued to touch Xiao Xiao's small face, causing the latter to reveal a bitter expression, pain. "Ha ha!" Xiao Zhon involuntarily burst out in laughter upon seeing this. Tears even began to fall due to his laughter. During the decades which he had been imprisoned by the Han clan, he had basically fallen into a despair. After witnessing the strength of the Han clan, it was extremely difficult for him to imagine escaping from their hands. At times, he even hoped that Xiao Yang would not go and rescue him. This was because it was far too dangerous doing so. However, when reality was placed in front of him, Xiao Zhon became aware that even though he had always have a great confidence in Xiao Yang, he had still underestimated the ability of this son of his. This kind of family joy really the best thing in the world for Xiao Zhon, who had once ended up in despair. Xiao Yang clenched his fist tightly after seeing Xiao Zhon's appearance. Kailin and Zun'er by the side involuntarily had reddened eyes. "Father, let us go and rest first. Coincidentally, I am free during this period of time." I will help you nurse your health, Xiao Yan smiled. After which, he turned towards Kaylin and said, send someone back to the Jioma Empire and bring my brothers over. Tell them, father is waiting for them. Kaylin nodded gently before turning around and leave. Xiao Yan gently exhaled as he looked at Kaylin's beautiful figure becoming distant. He muttered to himself in his heart, big brother, second brother, I have finally did what I have promised the both of you. The days after the big battle was unusually peaceful. The Alliance army that camped at the Sky Mansion Alliance did not move frequently. However, this atmosphere was an imminent storm had not weakened as a result. Instead, it became even denser. Everyone was aware that this would be the decisive battle between two extraordinary parties. The earth-shaking big battle in the Burial Mountain Range had resulted in both parties suffering some losses. Hence, they were a little quiet during this period of time. Both parties were using this limited time to quickly recover their energy and prepare for an all-out strike. While the army was recuperating, the upper echelons of the Alliance army did not have the time to do so. Xiao Yan had found a place to undertake a retreat the moment the army had arrived at the Falling Star Pavilion. Everyone knew that he was personally monitoring the Han clan. With his monitoring the other party, any activity that occurred at the Han realm would be immediately discovered by him. However, such an activity did not appear during this period of time. It was as though the Han clan had become completely quiet after obtaining the ancient jade. Another couple of days passed in the blink of an eye as this deadlock continued. After the Alliance army had obtained some rest, they finally began their next course of action. This time around, their target was the Han clan. Strong individuals from all over the place were orderly divided into many groups that flew out from the Star Realm. After which, they began a carpet-like search from the Sky Mansion Alliance in an attempt to look for the branch hall of the Hall of Soul. In the face of this extremely detailed search, the branch halls of the Hall of Soul were all being exposed one after another. However, after the Alliance army charged into these branch hall, they discovered that it was completely empty inside. Only an extremely few branch halls still had some experts from the Hall of Soul guarding it. However, this kind of protection was unable to pose any obstruction towards the Alliance army. Under this extremely forceful search by the Alliance army, all the branch halls of the Hall of Soul on the Central Plains had been turned into wasteland. Even the most important Sky and Earth halls had been destroyed by the powerful Alliance army. From this moment forth, the Hall of Soul, which was once renowned throughout the Central Plains, was easily eliminated from it. The outsides could only be shocked in the face of the Hall of Soul being easily destroyed. The previous overlord of the Central Plains actually appeared so weak in the face of the Alliance oppression. However, Xiao Yan and the others had also frowned while the public was shocked. From the looks of it, it was obvious that the Han clan had already predicted this, and have already withdrew the Hall of Soul from those places. Most importantly, the spiritual essence stored in those branch halls had also been shifted away by the Hall of Soul. The action taken by the Han clan could be considered decisive. They knew that it was basically impossible to protect the Heart of Soul in the face of the Alliance army. In that case, they might as well hand it over to the Alliance. In any case, the Hall of Soul could be said to have achieved its purpose. It did not matter even if it was destroyed. Once their plans succeed, they would be able to rapidly build a couple of Hall of Souls. At that time, the entire continent would be under their control. Following the destruction of the Hall of Soul, the Alliance army could only withdraw once again. After which, they were placed outside of the Han realm in front of many pairs of eyes in preparation of any activities that could potentially appear. During this period of time, Xiao Ding and Xiao Li had also traveled through the wormhole that already been set up. They directly arrived at the Star Realm from the northwestern part of the continent. There was naturally a moving scene when father and son reunite. That scene caused the eyes of many to redden and their hearts to ache. Who could have expected that the original ordinary, but lucky Xiao clan, would ended up being separated due to the appearance of the Han clan from nowhere? After his two brothers' arrival, Xiao Yan had also enjoyed a period of joy from the reunion, which he had not felt for a long time. Additionally, he had also inquired about the matters of the Yang alliance. This alliance that he had established back then was currently the undeniable strongest faction on the current northwestern part of the continent. However, Xiao Yang did not have any plans to use the strength of the Yang alliance. From the perspective of the Central Plains, it could only be considered a relatively strong faction. Hence, it was pointless to robe it into the alliance army. After enjoying a period of family time, Xiao Yang had once again refocused his mind. The matter of the Hall of Soul having gathered all the Shi ancient god Jade had been weighing on him. Even though he had currently stepped into the Di state soul, he was still far lacking when compared to a 9-star Doshing like the Nihility, devouring flame. Hence, before the Han clan could find the Shi ancient god cave, he must increase his strength as quickly as possible. In this way, it would allow him to be able to have some additionally trump cards when facing an opponent like the Nihility, devouring flame. However, after reaching his level, attempting to raise his strength within a short period of time was clearly an extremely difficult task. Hence, Xiao Yang had finally chose to target the 9 mysterious golden lightning that was sealed within Little Yi's body after musing for a long time. After his soul had stepped into the D state, he already possessed the ability to refine this strength, which he was once helpless against. Xiao Yang stood in front of a tomb that was standing alone on a plains deep within the heavenly tomb. He bowed respectfully towards the tomb before lifting his head. His eyes looked around him. There were many energy bodies present around the plains. However, they did not step anywhere within 10,000 feet from Xiao Yang. Moreover, there was respect and fear in their eyes as they looked at Xiao Yang. Even if one did not mention the fact that Xiao Yang was currently the owner of the heavenly tomb, just the fact that the latter's soul had stepped into the Di state was sufficient to cause these energy bodies to shudder in fear. These energy bodies could be considered the natives of this heavenly tomb. Most of these people were relatively powerful existences when they were alive. However, that was when they were still alive. At this moment, they were merely some energy bodies that could only survive by relying on the mysterious heavenly tomb. Xiao Yang had also deeply observed them. There was a total of over a dozen of them who had reached the Doshing class. Unfortunately, none of them possessed a strength comparable to ancestor Xiao Xian. Xiao Yang smiled involuntarily in the face of this. If there was an energy body here that was comparable to ancestor Xiao Xian, they would not have allowed the heavenly tomb soul to do as it pleased. This lineup could actually also be considered quite a powerful strength. However, due to the uniqueness of the heavenly tomb, they were unable to leave this place. Hence, they were of little help to Xiao Yang. Nevertheless, if I end up meeting an enemy in the future, I can trap him into entering the heavenly tomb. Xiao Yang fondled his chin and laughed softly. Immediately, he sat down in front of the tomb. His eyes were widened as he spoke in a faint voice, "Shui Dao, help me stand guard. Do not allow anyone to disturb me." Although there were many energy bodies inside the heavenly tomb, Xiao Yang did not really trust them. He could only be considered to be a little familiar to that Saint Shui Dao. Hence, Xiao Yang had the intention of allowing him to manage the order within the heavenly tomb. Understood. A blood-clothed figure in the distance hurriedly spoke in a respectful manner upon hearing this. If one was to look closely, it was that Saint Shui Dao. The current Shui Dao possessed quite a high status within this heavenly tomb. This was because many energy bodies were aware that the newly owner of the heavenly tomb seemed to have quite a deep relationship with him. Therefore, even some of the energy bodies which were far stronger than him, were currently extremely courteous to him. Saint Xuedao was happy to enjoy such a change. However, he also understood that he was merely borrowing the strength of others to appear mighty. Therefore, he appeared extremely respectful when facing Xiao Yan. He completely treated himself as the latter's subordinate. Xiao Yan's hands formed a seal after he issued the instructions. Little Yi flashed and appeared on his shoulder. It opened its small mouth without waiting for Xiao Yan's instructions. A golden light was spat out from his mouth. Rumble. Loud rumbling sound appeared in the sky after this golden light had shot out. The golden light swelled with the wind. Within the short blink of an eye, however, it had swelled into a golden lightning dragon that was tens of thousands of feet in size. An enormous lightning arc flickered over his body. The rumbling sound brought about waves of thunder in the sky. Many energy bodies had a change in expression after seeing the golden lightning dragon emitting a terrifying pressure in the sky. They hurriedly pulled far back. If the lightning was to come smashing down, it was likely that many would have been blasted into dust. Roar! The lightning dragon roared in the sky. Those golden dragon eyes did not have any emotion. After all, it was currently only a type of pure energy. Xiao Yan looked at the lightning dragon raging in the sky and smiled slightly. He could clearly sense the violence and strength of the energy. If it was in the past, he might be only able to occasionally borrow its strength. However, it would have likely be extremely difficult task to refine it. However, it was fortunate that he had advanced into the D-state soul. This had allowed the 9 mysterious golden lightning, which he had originally feared, to become a lot more ordinary. The energy of the latter was increasingly powerful. This would allow Xiao Yan to quickly increase his strength. The most important thing for his current self was to possess a greater strength. I wish to said just how tyrannical you can be. The seal formed by Xiao Yan's hand changed once again. The ocean-like unfathomable spiritual strength on his brow swept out like a storm. In an instant, a huge figure that was a couple of times larger than the lightning dragon stood in the sky. The huge shadow was exactly the same as Xiao Yan. However, the rolling pressure that spread from its body was many times stronger than the pressure of the lightning dragon. Just looking at the enormous figure caused a trembling feeling to surge from deep within his soul. That feeling was as though they had met the Emperor of all souls. Only by submitting would they be able to escape from the harm of that pressure. Roar! Under that incomparably huge figure, even the golden lightning dragon, which was void of any intelligence, seemed to have felt the pressure. Its low roar was no longer as wild and violent as earlier. Even the bright lightning glow on his body had suddenly become much dimmer. The huge figure looked down at the lightning dragon from high above. Suddenly, a mountain-like large hand was extended out from the cloud layer and grabbed onto the lightning dragon. Bang bang bang. The scales on the golden lightning dragon stood up after they saw the huge claw striking at them. Its large mouth was widened. Many thousand feet large golden lightning balls were shot out. Finally, they ruthlessly collided onto the giant hand, emitting a deafening rumbling sound. Golden lightning arcs flashed crazily in the sky. It appeared just like a golden lightning cloud. However, the lightning cloud directly torn apart the moment it was formed. A pair of large hands containing a terrifying pressure directly grabbed onto the lightning dragon's body. The lightning dragon struggled wildly after its body was caught. Many golden lightning continued to strike onto the huge palm, emitting a series of crackling sound. However, the huge palm did not move. Humph, break it. The huge figure watched the crazily struggling lightning dragon. A sharp cry was suddenly emitted. Immediately, the strength of his palm soared. One could hear a rumbling explosion in the sky and the golden lightning dragon was shattered by it. The lightning dragon exploded and it immediately turned into a viscous golden liquid, which was suspended in the sky. Those golden liquid contained an incomparably mighty energy fluctuation. After the appearance of the golden liquid, little Yi suddenly leaped up from Xiao Yan's shoulder. His body swayed and it turned into a 10,000 feet large fire cauldron. The cauldron was opened and a suction force erupted from it. Immediately, the sea of golden liquid became like numerous golden river pouring down from the sky and completely fell into the fire cauldron. After the final drop of golden liquid fell into the fire cauldron, a pink flame within it immediately whistled and rose as it crazily attempted to refine it. At the same time, Xiao Yan, who was below, beckoned with his hand. Countless medicinal ingredients flew out from within his storage ring. Finally, they turned into a medicinal sea that floated in the sky. Xiao Yan did not use an ordinary method to swallow the 9 mysterious golden lightning during this refinement. This was because he understood that with his current strength, even if he was to simply directly refine it, he would at the very most only be able to reach the advanced level 6-star Doshin class. However, Xiao Yan was dissatisfied with this. Hence, he had used another method. It was to use the 9 mysterious golden lightning as the key ingredient to refine a pill. This pill was called the Lightning Calamity Pill. It could be considered a relatively mysterious medicinal pill. Its main ingredient was not something ordinary. Instead, it was the pill lightning. Refining a medicinal pill with pill lightning and adding many medicinal ingredients and monster core into the mix. The pill that was refined would definitely be extraordinary. The Lightning Calamity Pill was also divided into different grades. There were Tier 8 medicinal pills, Tier 9 treasure pills and Tier 9 mysterious pills. The quality of the Lightning Calamity Pill that was being refined is mainly determined by the difference in the main ingredient. If one was to follow Xiao Ysm and directly use the 9 mysterious golden lightning as the main ingredient, the Lightning Calamity Pill that was finally refined should be able to reach the Tier 9 mysterious pill level. Xiao Yang had only succeeded in refining the Tier 9 mysterious pill once before. He had also been quite lucky back then. This time around, however, Xiao Yang was extremely confident. The main reason for this confidence was simply because his soul had stepped into the DI state. After having reached this level, one would seldom make any mistake when refining pills. Any changes would be detected early and corrected under the observation of the DI state soul. Hence, Xiao Yang was not really worried that he would destroy this only 9 mysterious golden lightning of his. His DI state soul gave him sufficient confidence. The sea of medicine around the fire cauldron in the sky continued to pour into the latter. These medicinal ingredients had directly turned into the purest medicinal strength the moment they entered the fire cauldron. Finally, they merged into the golden liquid. With an increasing number of medicinal ingredients being poured into the golden liquid, the liquid had also become a little colorful. The surface of the liquid had a continuous flashing lightning on it. At a glance it appeared extremely mysterious. Refining a Tier 9 mysterious pill was not something that could be done immediately. However, Xiao Yang was already prepared for this. It was precisely because of this reason that he had chose the Heavenly Tomb as the location for the refinement. With the difference in the flow of time of this place, he should be able to successfully refine the Lightning Calamity Pill within 1 to 2 months. Hence, lightning roar continuously resounded within the Heavenly Tomb during the subsequent period of time. The huge fire cauldron floated in the distant sky. Those pink flame that spread apart caused many energy bodies to sense a heartfelt horror. This scene continued for almost a month. However, only 6 days had passed on the Central Plains. After this refinement lasted for a month, Xiao Yang, whose eyes were tightly shut, also slowly opened them. His eyes looked at the fire cauldron in the sky and smiled. Golden light spread within the fire cauldron. The golden liquid had already withered away. However, that fist-sized bright gold-like medicinal pill originally located at the middle of the golden liquid was quietly floating in the cauldron. Many golden lightning continued to seep out from around the medicinal pill while emitting a rumbling sound. The Tier 9 mysterious pill, Lightning Calamity Pill, had been successfully refined. This video will end here.